I'd like to bring in Shawn Henry at this time. Spent a very long career at the FBI. You were credited for bolstering the Bureau's cyber capabilities significantly in your career. Tell me about your observations about the cyber threat.
Well, just building on both what Dan said and the Secretary said, to put this in some perspective, the scope of this, there are many different consultancies who've estimated the loss within the U.S. economy at hundreds of billions of dollars every year. And the threat and the attack that Dan saw from the trusted insider is by order of magnitude much more substantial when you look at the remote access attacks across many different industries. And I can't tell you how many times we in the FBI knocked on organizations' doors and told them that they had been breached, their data had been stolen, and we knew that because we found their data elsewhere in the course of another investigation. Many, many times every single week that occurred, and organizations had no idea that they'd actually been breached.
I think that's a really important point to pause on, because I'm sure when Secretary Chertoff or you or Miko, anybody goes into a companies like Dan's, the first comment they usually get is, my chief security officer says it's fine. I talked to the CIO. He says we have no problem. There's a really strong sense of denial initially, and then somebody like Shawn shows up and puts 500 gigabytes of the corporation's data on their desk, which they found on the server someplace else.
Yeah, I think that the people don't really have a good understanding of what this threat is, and quite frankly, the substantial capacity and capability we've seen of these adversaries is such that many people who are technical and do have a responsibility for protecting the networks have no understanding of how the adversary makes access, maintains access on that network. In many cases, for years at a time, they have full access to everything on that network. Every email that's sent, every file that's maintained, every piece of data, your corporate secrets. And with that complete access, they're able to take that information, they're able to help, in the case of foreign intelligence services, help bolster their home country capabilities, home corporations. They're able to change their military strategy potentially. And it is just a tremendous capability that they have. One final comment. I've talked about this, the cyber threat as being an iceberg. And if you picture a 3D vision of an iceberg where you've got the water line and we all see the tip of the iceberg, and I've said that the water line is the line of demarcation between the unclassified environment and the classified environment, and that the average person sees and hears about theft of credit cards and my bank account was breached, and that really literally is the tip of the iceberg. The bottom piece of that iceberg is what a very small group of people, primarily in the intelligence community, have access to and see on a regular basis. And that is the totality of what's actually happening, and most people just have no concept of that.